Franco film, and I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to convince the staff here to get it with English subtitles, because it's in the cinemas, of course, and you can see it without English subtitles. But a lot of people can't understand the Dutch, so we might be having a screening with the filmmakers here in this location, but it's still a little bit unclear. I'm not organizing it, so I'm just letting you know about it, because I think it's an important event. But because I have my own underground cinemas, my next free night is going to be next Thursday. So if this building is still here next Thursday, I'm going to continue showing movies here every day I possibly fucking can, because I think it's such a wonderful opportunity. Underground, my underground cinemas have traveled around a lot of different places over the 8 or 9 years that I've been doing them. But one of the wonderful things about the cinemas was this journey from the spin house, which was the students taking over the sociology and anthropology department after it had been evicted by the food fund. We wanted to sell it because it's expensive property, and we need to make money because they're such idiots. And went into debt, and went into this whole new neoliberal mentality, which almost automatically means that you're going to go into debt. So then when they had it for 4 months, of course, and I was already starting to show films there, and then that got closed down, and they said to me, we're going to get something else, I'll tell you. But it was totally unclear what they were going to get next, and then a month went by or so, and then the Bunga House appeared, and what a marvelous building, this beautiful Art Deco building on the Spouwstraat. Showing movies, as many movies as I could there, possibly. And then, of course, that didn't last very long. And I remember they were evicted on Tuesday, and I was talking to people on Wednesday, and I was saying, these people have vision. These students have determination. They know what they have ideas about what they're doing. And so it's not going to be long before they take another building. And already the next night, they have this building. Absolutely fantastic course of events. And I have such deep admiration. This place, what is happening now here, is historical. Everything outside there is crap. It's just consumerism. It has no history whatsoever, in a way. It's just something that's just like coming and going, and nobody's ever going to pay attention to it in the future. But this kind of situation is absolutely crucial. This is the kind of thing, like I was saying yesterday, this is unimaginable. And whenever you do something that's unimaginable, you're making the imagination become real. And what a piece of magic, what a piece of poetry this kind of action is. So anyway, I'm so happy to be showing movies here. Just to let you know, I'm doing underground cinemas. What does underground mean? It means that, first of all, money is not an objective. I'm not interested in money. I have enough money in my life. Everybody wants more and more all the time. I don't have so much, but I have enough to eat, and if I have enough free time to do what I'm passionate about, then I'm fucking rich. That's what's rich, being rich is, having some free time to do what you really love. So, and at least in my life it is that way. And also, it means that I'm doing cinemas outside of any institutions, totally disconnected from the official culture, the official society out there. I just drew a line, I say, I want to have an underground again, because there's always been undergrounds. Throughout history, there's always been undergrounds. There's either been religious undergrounds, or political undergrounds, or artist undergrounds, but there's always been undergrounds. And today, this is becoming so rare, because everything's being absorbed into the mainstream almost immediately from the very beginning. And so I just felt we had to have underground cinemas again. The idea of cinema is a wonderful thing, it's people coming together and dreaming together for an hour and a half or so. And so I thought that's what I want to put my energy into. That's my background. I knew a lot about film, so I started these underground cinemas, and I'm so happy having them here also, like I said. And by the way, yesterday I was encouraging people to, support the space. And I just like that, support the space. Then I later thought, in our society now, mostly people need money, or we have some money, we can give it to them. But I'm more interested in people supporting the space with creativity, with their ideas, with their spirit, with their bodies coming into space and just participating in what's actually the marvelous thing that's happening here. So my name is Jeffrey, and I'm showing movies around town. I'll tell you what's coming up in the next 3 days or so. My next screening is, next 3 screenings, I'll put it that way. Next screening is going to be Monday at the New Anita. I'm going to be showing a French film by Claude Lelouch. Claude Lelouch made 2 different kinds of movies kind of in his career. He made some movies which were kind of very sentimental and romantic, and other films which were incredibly creative and risky. And the film I'm going to be showing on Monday, which is called The Crook, starring Jean-Louis Trintignant, is a film which is the creative kind, of course. This has a narrative, it has a storyline, but how that storyline unfolds and how it falls apart, and you're totally fucking confused, and then how the pieces start falling into place as the second half of the movie is going on, is absolutely choreography. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely inventive, and it shows the creative possibilities of cinema. So we're going to be showing, and it's a very rare screening because it's hardly ever been shown outside of France. Then on Tuesday, I'll be at Filmhuis Cavia, which is the oldest alternative cinema in Amsterdam. It's been there for over 30 years. I'll be showing a movie called Victim, starring Dirk Bogarde. And the film Victim is a British film from the 1960s, which means that 1960s homosexuality was criminal offense. People were going to prison because they were gay. People were losing their jobs when it was found out that they were gay. People in government were being thrown out of government because they found out that they were gay. People were committing suicide from the shame, not the shame, from the attacks of society in England at that time, when it was exposed that they were gay. And it went all the way down to the very bottom. You were living in an apartment house. Owner found out you were gay. You're looking for another room the next day. So we're talking about very intense prejudice going on in England. So this film, Victim, is exactly about that. And in this film is particularly about the fact that when gays were being targeted in this kind of way, they were also open to blackmail. People were exploiting this. You found out somebody was gay, you can get money out of them. And that's what Victim is about. Very special film, hardly ever shown, and we're going to have a special screening of it on Tuesday. That's all I'm going to tell you about because we have to get on. Tonight we're going to be seeing, I decided to show a half-an-hour short film before the feature film tonight. The feature film's an hour and a half, so the whole thing is just under 2 hours. Tonight we're going to have a film by Christoph Schlingensief. He was born in Oberhausen on October 24th, 1960, and he died in Berlin on August 21st, 2010. He was 49 years old when he died. As a child, he already started making films with his parents' Super 8 home camera. He tried to enter the Munich Film Academy, and he was rejected twice. Rainer Werner Fassbinder, the great German filmmaker, tried to apply to the same Munich Film Academy. He was rejected 3 times. Neither of them ever got in. So instead, Schlingensief started working with an experimental filmmaker in Germany called Werner Nickes. When Schlingensief started making films and theater pieces, he was seen as a quote-unquote total irritation to the German public and the media, of course, also. For example, he was always doing risky things. He was always on the edge. He was always trying to come up with creative ideas, doing the things that nobody else would do. So, for example, when he was invited to do in Zurich a stage piece, to choreograph a stage piece of Shakespeare's Hamlet, he brought in neo-Nazis to be actors in this film, because that's partly what the play was about. And he was bringing the real thing into this so-called theatrical environment. 1997, in Documenta, he nailed up a poster calling for there was this right-wing Chancellor Helmut Kohl that was in power. He put up a poster calling for his assassination, which led to Schlingensief's arrest at Documenta. You can see pictures of him being handcuffed and taken away from the Documenta art exhibition. 1998, he invited, he's always, once again, he's trying to think of new strategies. 1998, he invited all the unemployed people in Germany, which was 6 million people, to go to the lake, because Chancellor Kohl had a summer resort on a lake in this countryside of Austria, and he invited all the unemployed, 6 million, because he did a calculation, and he figured out that if all 6 million people jumped in the lake at the same time, that Kohl's resort would be flooded. Not enough people came, but Schlingensief never took the tactics of the traditional left wing, which is largely, of course, always based on protests and demonstrations. He felt that the traditional left, this kind of approach to doing things, and this kind of, which has become totally normal now in a way, as kind of creates a division, and it kind of polarizes the situation. And you get then you get left wing and you get right wing. And then there's very few people that ever switch from one side to the other. And there's really very little discussion actually happening. There's no possibility of change. The two sides are locked in place in a way. So he was always trying to find strategy. He was trying to think of ways which would break this situation up. Freak Stars 3000 is the short clip I'm going to show. The actual film is an hour and a half long, but it would make the program too long. So I'm just going to show, like I say, this 25-minute clip. Now, for the first thing to say about Christoph Schlingensief is that Christoph Schlingensief was not only Christoph Schlingensief, in the sense that no artist is just himself an artist, without influences, totally separated from his environment and from his past, his cultural environment. So today, Berlin is, of course, the financial capital of Germany. But in the 1980s, it was the capital of subculture in Germany. Basically, you know, there was the Berlin Wall there. West Germany, West Berlin was totally, you know, inside East Germany. West Germany was fucking afraid that it was just going to be taken one day. It was like this little island, you know. I remember going there. Basically, you know, you were in West Germany, you got to the border, you crossed it, then suddenly there was one highway, only one highway going to Berlin. There were machine guns, there were tanks along the road as you went there, and you got in there, and then suddenly you were in Berlin. This little, like I say, this fucking island with a beautiful Berlin Wall. Whether it had terrible consequences or not, it was really such an incredible, it created such a special situation. And so anybody that was young didn't want to go into the army. They had mandatory army service in Germany. You didn't want to go to the army? You can go to Berlin. We won't send you to the army anymore. You didn't want to fucking work in a normal job? Go to Berlin, we'll give you unemployment. They just wanted the fucking city populated. And it was full of young people doing really wild stuff. And so Schlingensief was coming from this kind of background, this kind of culture. In Berlin, there was a specific countercultural strategy which had developed, where basically they would take popular German culture, the mainstream culture, and take it and accept it and then subvert it. And the way they subverted it was to amp it up, throw in some kind of trash elements, and basically grind it down into pure kitsch. Because it is kitsch. You know, everything out there is kitsch. Starbucks is kitsch. It's total kitsch. This is Schlingensief's point of reference in many ways. So he was, he would embrace the worst aspects of our popular culture and then push it over its own limits. Some people have called this strategy over-identification. Instead of rejecting something, you accept it, you identify with it, but then you push it over and over and over. Expand it, you explode it in a certain kind of way. So this extract from this film that he made, this Freak Stars 3000, illustrates this in a way all too well. His absorption of mainstream culture, and in this case, we're talking about television talent shows and television political discussions, a little bit like what van der Laan, you know, the mayor of Amsterdam, was having downstairs. It kind of fits into this movie absolutely perfectly. Think about that while you're watching it. Complete with commercials that, you know, Schlingensief has made himself. We can see how Christoph uses all the spectacle, all the tinsel, all the glamour, but at the same time, he takes all the air out of it so that all that's left is the mechanics, the crass form, and the hollow manipulation. Now, one of the ways he does that is, and this is one of the things that makes this fucking film pretty controversial, is that he decides to stage this kind of, you know, typical German TV show in the Taylor Winkler Home for the Physically and Mentally Disabled in Lichtengrade, Berlin. So what we're talking about is, instead of having normal people that you normally see on television playing out this kind of television scenario, we have physically handicapped and mentally handicapped people doing it. And so he recreates our society in a mental institution. That's what he's doing in this clip. Ziff himself produced 4 television shows, 4 television series, 3 of which were just like really bizarre, weird talk shows. We'll take this 25-minute extract, and then you'll get more of you get more than enough of an idea of what Ziff is doing by accepting our culture and then just shoving it in your face so that you can almost not even take it anymore. And then we're going to have like a 2-minute break or a 3-minute break afterwards, and then while I set up the feature film, which is a documentary, much more straightforward and much more digestible. Put it that way. Afterwards. So, and I'll tell you a few, just a couple paragraphs about the feature film during that break. So let's go into Freak Stars 3000. I hope you survive. And I'll see you in about 25 minutes. Thanks for coming.